I don't know how credible the hockey buzz is in regards to hockey rumors and trade talks and all that, but there was an article here that was just brought to my attention. HockeyBuzz.com, Nylander offers intensify. Panthers and Steve Mason? Carey Price... ... And in this article, the first paragraph talks about how the Ottawa Senators, Ducks, Canucks, and Islanders have all made substantial trade offers for William Nylander. And they are all offering up some defensive help. And as I said, I don't know how credible this is. I don't want to think that this is credible because, in my opinion, we should just stop with the Nylander thing. Vancouver Canucks fans, we should not be going after Nylander. You know why? Here's why. Let's take a look at the two scenarios that would go on if the Canucks were to pursue Nylander. The first one, which is the one that a lot of people are talking about in regards to other teams, is the offer sheet. First off, we should not offer sheet William Nylander because, first, he has to actually agree to it, he actually has to sign with us, and secondly, if we offer sheeted William Nylander, we would be giving up picks. If Nylander is asking for that $8 million, and let's say we go out there, we give him a 7.5, we give him a 6.9, we give him an $8 million contract, if he signs with us, that means that we are forfeiting our picks for the NHL draft in Vancouver. And because the amount of money is going to be high, we are automatically going to have to give up our second and our third, potentially even our first. And how exactly would that be if we went into the 2019 NHL entry draft in Vancouver without our top 3 picks? That would be terrible. And would the reward for a William Nylander really be sufficient enough to say, yup, I'd do that, I'd basically give up our first 3 picks for Nylander. And with the idea in mind that he's not even guaranteed to signing our offer sheet, that is completely thrown out the window. So what are the other options? Well, the only other option is the option that this article on Hockey Buzz is presenting, and that is a trade. First off, there are a few things that the Vancouver Canucks should not touch. Besser, Pettersson, Hughes, Demko. Okay, we got that established. Horvat too, my goodness, I forgot about him. Second thing that the Vancouver Canucks should not be touching, defensive prospects. Third thing, the Vancouver Canucks should not be touching, draft picks. Draft picks because, well, the 2019 draft is in Vancouver. We kind of need those picks for our future success. And our defensive core prospects, no, we can't touch those either because we have so little of them. You could say, well, we have Juolevi, Hughes, Wu, and Uutinen, but let's just say that we should not touch these guys, because 3 of those guys we just picked up in the most recent draft. That leaves us with just Olli Juolevi. Well, everybody is talking about the Vancouver Canucks should trade Tanev over for Nylander. We could trade Edler over for Nylander. Is Tanev for Nylander really going to go through? Do you think Dubas is going to sit there like, yeah, that's going to go through, that's it, I like that, 100%, we're good? No, that is not enough. As a Canucks and a Leafs fan, I understand this idea from both points of views. The Vancouver Canucks think Tanev is really good and he's very valuable to the team. Moroki on defense talked about this idea in a very articulate way that I think was 100% accurate. He's so important to us, Chris Tanev is, which is why it would take a lot to pry him away from us, arguably more than what he really is worth. So the Vancouver Canucks giving up Tanev 1-for-1 for Nylander might be okay from the Vancouver media and fan point of view, but Dubas is not going to give up Nylander for Chris Tanev. There would have to be a little bit more on the table, which is where a lot of people are saying, okay, well, Tanev and Cole Lind for Nylander. That's great, right? You get the defense and you get a good offensive forward for a good offensive forward, right? I don't think that's enough either, guys. I am sorry. Cole Lind and Tanev for Nylander is not going to go through. The only way we'd have to be able to spice this up a little bit is if we added a whole bunch of prospects. Let's say a Gadjevich, a Lind, maybe another guy like Palmu and Tanev for William Nylander. But there's no way we're going to do that. So what's the point of even thinking about it? The only other thing that we could add to actually make this suffice is draft picks. which we've already established before the Vancouver Canucks should not give up. Tanev plus Lind plus a second for Nylander. Is that going to go through? If I'm a Leafs fan, I'm saying no, I don't think so. If I'm a Canucks fan, I'm saying, yeah, well, we're kind of overpaying here a little bit. So, the scale really isn't equal here from the Vancouver and the Toronto points of views, which is why I believe the Vancouver Canucks should just step out of this entirely. We don't need Nylander at this point, because we already have Jake Virtanen, who's already better than him. Okay, alright, I'm done with the sarcasm, but the point still stands, right? The Vancouver Canucks don't have the assets necessary to get Nylander while also keeping their own future intact. Sure, we have a lot of forwards. Nylander would be adding another really good forward to our already pretty good forwards. I'm being redundant here to make a point. But our defensive core is still in a position where it is vulnerable, and that's because it's just so newly put together that we shouldn't be in a position to look at this and say, yes, it is 100% expendable, let's trade Jet Wu for Nylander. It's not going to happen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video for Plus Electro Gaming, and bye.